Hey guys, it's Deco Freak here, and welcome to episode 24 of my custom story tutorial for Amnesia Rebirth. Today we're going to be talking about custom item names and descriptions. If you've played Rebirth before, you'll know that if you pick up an item, like for example a matchbox, you see the name of, when you go in your inventory, you can see the name of the item and the name and the description that is written by the developers. So today we're gonna talk about how we add a custom name and a custom item name and a custom item description. So there's a little bit involved with it, and it's going to be a little bit of messing around with our lang file, and we're going to have to create a new config file as well, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. This episode is a bit of a lead up to the next episode, which is going to be talking about keys and how to use keys to open doors. And I know it's pretty late. I've delayed the key episode for a while, and it's because there's a lot of pieces to making a key with a custom item name description, along with giving it the functionality of opening a door. So I wanted to delay it until we got more into the actual scripting aspects, and I think by this point we've covered enough scripting related topics, and I think we can go ahead and start talking more about keys and custom objects, and then eventually this will lead to making puzzles and stuff like that. So some good stuff coming ahead. So this is the first episode that we need to talk about before we can get to those things. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna put down a key, and we're gonna give the key a custom description name, a custom description and a custom name. And in the next episode, we'll probably write in the code to make it open a door and stuff. So let's go ahead and start by first placing down the key. Before we get started, also I want to make a mention. My wrist is a bit sore today, so my typing might be a little bit slow. I might be copying a bit from my notepad here I have on the side, copying and pasting a little bit, just to make it easier instead of typing the whole thing out. All the code will be linked in the description below in a Pastebin link, so feel free to go down and get all that code when you need it. I'll have it all segmented up. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to entities, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a key, and we're just going to pick a key here. One of the first early uses of a key is the relic room key. So I think we'll do the relic room key. We'll do this one right here, key relic room. Setting custom item names and descriptions can be done with any object. It doesn't have to be a key. Of course, I'm going to be using a key in this example, but you can do this with whatever object you want. I'll show you what category you need to look out for. So I'm going to click create on surface here, and we'll put it right here on the shelf here. And let's go ahead and click it. And what you want to look out for is this section right here that says pickup. If you have this pickup section on an item, then you should be able to go ahead and change the item name and description, and then add some other functionality to it. So keep in mind, this is the section you gotta look for. If you have this, you can set a custom name and description. We're gonna go ahead and just rotate this so it looks more normal than this. So let's go ahead and rotate it, and I'll turn off grid snapping here for a second, just so that we can bring up the key. And I think that's good enough. Still on the table a little bit, maybe a smidge more. Yeah, that looks fine to me. So yeah, let's go ahead and turn on grid snapping again. All right, and now we got our key down. So now we're gonna go ahead and give it a name. For simplicity, I'm gonna give it the same name across all the ways we're gonna add this. So so I'm gonna give it a name. I'm gonna call it storage room key, because I think I want it to open this storage room. I'll probably move the key downstairs somewhere, but for now we'll put it here just to make it easier to test. We're gonna go ahead and click on it, and let's go ahead and call it. We'll call it storage key just to make it even shorter. Storage key. storage key, and I'm going to go ahead and copy that same name here just to keep things consistent. And I'm going to go ahead and put it under this section here under pickup and item type. I'm going to go ahead and put that there as well, and it should come up red like that when the changes are there. So I'm going to go ahead and save up my level editor now, make sure everything's saved up, and that's all we need to do in the level editor. Of course, other objects that you pick up will have the same category here, and you could add custom things to those as well, but again, we're just doing the key in this episode. So with that, we're done with the level editor for today. We're gonna go ahead and bring up our CodeLight application here that we're using for editing text, and we are also going to bring up the root directory here. So what we need is inside of this folder here, this config folder. So if you go to the root directory here, there should be a folder here in the Amnesia Rebirth core folder called config. And in here, there's a file called inventory. So what we're going to do is copy this file. It's an inventory.cfg file, so it's a config file. And we're going to go ahead and copy this. So let's go ahead and hit copy. And we're gonna paste this right into our custom story folder. So mine is mods, it's the wake, and then under config here, I'm gonna paste it right in here, right where our main init is. So we'll paste it there, and now we have it. So we're gonna open it up and mess around with this in a moment. But pretty much this contains all the usage information for all the items in the game. In the game that we use, like sulfur bottles, keys, gunpowder, all that stuff. It contains all the information for that stuff. So we could start with an empty file, but if we start with an empty file, none of the other items in the game will work. You'll have to add it every time you want it. So what we're gonna do is just copying the inventory file from the core game, and the game will use our inventory file over the game's built-in over the game's inventory. So important that we copy this here. And now let's go ahead and go to our CodeLight application, and we're gonna go ahead and open up that inventory file. So if you follow along with the way we set this up in the first episode, I'm going to go under our config folder here, and you can see that there's nothing in here. So we're going to go ahead and right click on config here, and then we're going to do we're going to go to the main folder here. We're going to right click, and we're going to do import files from a directory, and we're going to go ahead and check the config folder here, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. So this will update our files here. So we go config, you can see now our inventory.cfg file is appearing in our thing, and now we can go ahead and open it, and we can see the file and everything. So this is great. We can go ahead and start messing around in here. This file is in XML, and it has, like I said, it has all the information about how items are used in the game. So for example, you got like lanterns, radio, door handles, medallions, orbs, matchboxes. You got a whole bunch of things here, and you can specify exactly how you want those items to behave when they're in your inventory. So you can see, like here you have on self, you have max amount, you have let's see, if you want to use animations, you can set the picture that you want to use. So, or if you want to use an entity that comes out when you use it, and yeah, this is the icon for those things. So it pretty much it tells the game exactly how you want like the object to be used in your game. So it's like kind of like the inventory configuration. And the developers actually put all the uses here for you, so you can actually see all the code that can be used here. So, for example, if we look here in this first section here where it says item type, so you can see all the item types right away. So there's one's ID, one's name ID, description ID combined, and you can see there's ID. If we look a little bit further down, we'll probably find a combine somewhere. Let's see if we could find it. Yeah, right here. So you can see combine right here. So you can enter as many of these variables as you want. And another one here, like inventory, you got icon, alternate icon, pickup icon. So you can have any of those. Ones that we're probably going to use for the key are right here. These are going to be the use callbacks that we're going to use. So when the player uses them, this will call back a function in the script. So use on world map callback, for example. If we scroll down, we'll find one of those uses. Use on world map callback, and you can see on, and then they execute a function here called on use vitae canister. That's pretty much how it is. And you can put as many of these as you want. So you just put, a space here, and then you just go ahead and add another one here. And this is where we're gonna add our custom item description and stuff. Or we're gonna register our item. It's kind of like we're registering a brand new key essentially. And we're gonna register it, and then we're gonna for our inventory, and then we're gonna set what we want it to show. And also, look, you can change whether or not, like, the medallion, you have the medallion when the game starts up as well, and some other stuff. And you also I didn't mention this either, the max inventory size as well. You can change that there as well. Let's go ahead and work on adding our custom key. Our custom keys with our custom items name and description. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the bottom of this item types here, where you have like gunpowder mix and everything like that. And we're gonna go ahead and hit enter twice here, and we're gonna put a new entry in here. And we're pretty much gonna do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy over this code here. So let me bring this over here. And I'll paste it right here, and this is missing some info here that we're gonna fill in ourselves here. Before we edit that, what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna make a little I'm gonna indicate the section where we're gonna add our custom entries here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the open left bracket here, and we're gonna do exclamation point, and we're gonna put dash dash, and we're gonna do custom entries. I'll put it in caps actually, just to make it pop a little more. Custom entries, and then we'll go ahead and then do dash dash, and we'll close it here. And this pretty much just indicates a comment in the XML file, which means that the XML file will ignore this line here. And you can see that I believe they use it somewhere up here. They use it here to kind of hide all this stuff here. So we're gonna just put that there just to kind of identify where our custom stuff is. And I'm gonna copy paste it right below here. We're just gonna call it end custom entries here. So we're gonna back up here a little bit, and we're gonna just say end custom entries. So we know in this section here, it's pretty much all our custom item entries that we've added into the game. So just good for just like easy finding of our custom objects and stuff like that. And now let's go ahead and talk about how we fill this in. So ID, again, we're going to keep everything consistent with the same name. So if we go back to the level editor, we use storage key as the name. So again, I'm going to go ahead and copy storage key, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that here as the ID of our item. And then what I'm going to do for inventory icon here, I'm going to use the icon for the relic room key. Since we are using the relic room key, that we're just going to use the image that's here. To find this, you can actually find this in the root directory of Amnesia. So if we go to root directory, and I believe it is under graphics and then inventory, there's an items folder here. You probably recognize some of these icons here, but if we go under items, as you can see, these are all the icons for the custom, the game's inventory system. So when you pick up like a lantern or a sulfur bottle or something, or you make gunpowder or whatever, all of it is in here. In the future, we might be doing like custom images and stuff from our custom story, but for now, we're just gonna use the built-in one for the relic key. So if you look here, inventory item key relic room, so that's exactly what we're using here. the game already knows where it is, so you don't have to indicate anything. You just put the name of the key, and it go ahead and grabs that image there. So there's nothing we need to do. So that's where we get that name from. And then use on world. So we want to make sure that yes, this item can be used in the world, which means like, you know, a key you can use on a door. Some items you might not want to be able to use on the world, so you would set this to be false. I think it might be false by default, but if it's not, then you can go ahead and put it here. And now can use on world callback and use on world map callback. So we're going to primarily talk about this in the next episode, but we will fill this in today just to kind of set up for the next episode. I'm probably going to reference this episode in the next episode anyways when we talk about keys, like using keys. So we won't really need to use these just yet, but we will actually fill these in right now. And I'll make a mention to them in the next episode. But this pretty much calls a function. It calls a function that can check whether or not the key can be used on whatever object you're looking at. So the convention for this is can use, and then you do underscore, and you can see some of the other developers. Uses is here too, and you can see them up here too. Can use, elevator winch. So we're going to put the exact name that's here and put it right here. So we're going to go ahead and paste that in. Can use storage key. And then over here for the use on world map, we're going to do on use. So we're going to say on use underscore, and then we're going to paste the name of our item ID there. And that's pretty much it. Again, this is not necessary for the custom description. You don't have to include this. You could just include the on world. Actually, you don't need to include any of this to see the custom description. But since we are going to use this in the next episode for something, we did go ahead and fill this in here. With that, we're pretty much done in here. And now we got to set up in our lang file. We got to set up what is gonna show you when the player looks at it. So when the player opens up their inventory. So let's go ahead and go over to our lang file. So that's under config lang and english.lang. Again, if you followed up with my initial setup of our environment, you should have that. But if you don't have the lang here file for some reason, you know, you can create it, and again, just do right click, import files from directory and whatnot. So let's go ahead and open up our lang file. And now this is what mine's looks like. We did an episode on hints, so we did have an entry here, and we left this by alone. So one important note I want to make here is I'm actually not sure to the exact reason why, but you need to have a category here with some name that's not like identified by the game pretty much. So this is typically the name of your map. So you would not, so in our case we got it called sample map. It doesn't actually match anything it doesn't match your map name or anything like that, so we could put whatever we want here. So I'm gonna call it starting room, and we do have like these sample messages here. We're just gonna go ahead and clear those sample messages, and we'll leave it open like this in case we do want to put something inside of here. But for now we're gonna leave that blank. We'll just go ahead and hit save here. But in the future, if we add any anything else, any messages or anything like that, we're gonna go ahead and put it in here. So just make sure you have this section here with the name being the name of your map pretty much. Or if you have if you copied my original setup video and you have this saying sample map, you can just leave it alone and you don't have to touch it. I'm just doing it just to kind of get it with the name of my map to match it. And now we're gonna go ahead and make some new space here. And we're gonna go ahead and paste in some stuff here. So we need to make a new category here. So again, I'm gonna copy this off of my notepad here. We're gonna go ahead and paste the category name. So we're making a new category called inventory. And we're gonna go ahead and make some space down here. And then we're gonna go ahead and close out that category. So we're gonna go ahead and paste in /category here, just like over here. And then we're gonna go ahead and hit 2 spaces here, and we're gonna put a new entry in here. And again, all this code will be in the description and the Pastebin below. And I'm gonna go ahead and copy this again from my notepad here, and I'm gonna paste it in. And this is what we have. So we have the name, a name, and we have a description. and then this is just the names here. So what we want to do is for the entry name, we're going to name it whatever we put in our inventory file. So if we go over to the inventory file here, we call the storage key, right? So we're going to copy the same ID and the same ID. And again, for ease of use, I would keep this ID name consistent, so that everything stays working properly. The important one is between this one, and what you put in the item type in the level editor. I would just keep everything the same. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that there. And then you have to leave _DEC, which is description, that you can't change. You have to change this beginning part here, and you just call it storage key. So it should be storage key _DESC for description, and then this is the name, the ID name of that item. So now in here, we can go ahead and put in whatever we want to call the title of the key, whatever the title of the key is. So we're gonna just call it storage room key, and this is what the player will see in the game. So you want to make sure this looks proper. And then we're gonna go ahead and clear out this part right here where it says open something. This is just my pre-filled stuff. And we're gonna go ahead and clear that out, and we're gonna put in a description, and it will just say key. This is the key to open the storage room. I would probably put something different than this, but it's just the first thing that came to mind. This is the key to open the storage room. And then we'll go ahead and hit save here. And at this point, we're pretty much all done. So just to kind of go over everything we did, in the level editor, we placed a pickable up item, a pickup item, and under the pickup category here, we put in the item type to match the same name as the level editor name, storage key. And then this name we have to reference in the inventory.cfg file, which we placed in our configs folder. And in here, we made a custom entry. We marked it as custom entry here just so we know. And we made a new item type with the ID that's the same as that one in the game. And then we went ahead and we used the image for the relic room key. So we're just going to keep it with the same key image. And then we went ahead and added some additional variables here. A callback for when it's used, a callback for if you can use it, and then a callback that allows it to be used in the world. And then once we have this in here, it's gonna look for the storage key ID name in our lang file, which is over here. And it's right here, storage key, and also the storage key description. And then we filled it in. It's going to be called storage room key with the description. This is the key to open the storage room. So with that, all the pieces are pretty much done to get this to work. So let's go ahead and run our game and check it out in our game. All right, so here we are in our level. So our key should be right here. If you set up the inventory.cfg file properly, you're going to see this hand here. If you didn't set it up properly, there's gonna be like a red slash, a red cancel sign over this because there's no configuration for it. So us being able to grab it is good. So we're gonna go ahead and click it to grab it, and then we're gonna go ahead and go into our inventory. And if we hover over it, you can see storage room key. This is the key to open the storage room. And that's pretty much it. And if we click it, we can go ahead and see our icon here. Uses that same image file that we selected. And of course, there's no functionality for it yet. We didn't program anything, so it's not going to highlight or anything. And if we click it, nothing happens. But that's pretty much it for adding a object with a custom name and description. I do want to show you one last thing. So let's go ahead and go back to our CodeLight application, and we're going to talk about custom descriptions for objects that are already in the game. So let's go ahead and go back. All right, so here we are back in our CodeLight application. So I want to show you guys how to edit existing items in the game and give them a new description. So for those that want to take the extra step and change the game's stuff. So if we go into our level editor and we look at these matchboxes, you notice there's no item type here. because it defaults to Matchbox by default, because it's just one of like those built-in items already. So if we go to our inventory file in our CodeLight application, so our inventory.cfg, if we look here, we should find Matchbox. Again, we copied this straight from the developers, and in here should be Matchbox. Let's see if we can find it. Probably right here, Matchbook. So here it is. This is the entry that they have. They already have their own details that they wanted to put in here. What we can do is pretty much we can leave this as is, but we can put a new entry in our lang file to actually change the name of the matchbook, like the name and description of the matchbook. So if we go to our English.lang file, all we really have to do if we wanted to put custom names is put a new entry here for that same item. So again, I'm going to copy some code here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it right in here. If you have any more other inventory things you want to put, you just put a space right here and go ahead and put it in this next line here. And then you can do the same thing if you had another one. Just go ahead and make some new lines there. But we won't be putting any more today. And then for the ID name, just make sure it matches the same one that's in here, which should just be Matchbook, since we copied it from the developers folder, and matchbook description as well. And then we just can go ahead and put in our own description here. So here I have this one called custom matchbook, and then a custom description of matchbook. We're just gonna put, we don't really matter, we just want to make sure we can see it. And yeah, so we can actually edit the matchbook's description and stuff. And if down the line you wanted to change the picture as well, you could do it here too, where it says inventory item matches. You can go ahead and change that and get yourself a custom image for the matchbook and stuff, or any other object really. So that's really cool. So I guess we'll go ahead and run this and just make sure it works, and then we will wrap up the video. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so we're back in the level. So let's go ahead and go over here and let's just grab a matchbook here. And if we go into our inventory, you can hover over and you'll see custom matchbook, a custom description of matchbook. So again, we just threw whatever description there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And every matchbook will do the same thing. If you pick up more, they'll just stack up to 10, since that's what's set in the inventory.cfg file. And you can change anything. You can also change, the bracelet, the compass, whatever it is, all of it. You can change all of it, and set it to be whatever you want, and change the image as well. Of course, we'll talk about that in future episodes, like, very, custom, like full conversion type items where we change the image and add specific functionality. We'll probably talk about that in a future episode. But for now, this is just our introduction to the inventory.cfg file. And that's pretty much it for the episode. In the next episode, we're going to talk about keys. But before we wrap up, I actually do want to go back to our CodeLight application. I want to show off one thing. There was last time we talked about the lang file. We did have somebody comment. I don't have his name in mind right now, but he said that there was a lang editor that you could use. So I wanted to kind of just show you the lang editor. So if you're interested in seeing that, you can stick around for the remainder of the video. If not, we're going to go ahead and you can go ahead and just wrap up the video here. So let's go ahead and go back to our CodeLight application and let's just show you that application. So let's do that. All right, so we're back here at a CodeLight application. So I'll probably link in the description. The developers do provide a lang file editor. So if we go to our core Amnesia folder, I've actually placed it in here. You don't need to have it in here. This is just where I placed it. It's called lang editor. Again, I'll put the link to it in the description if you care to download it. And if we run it, it's pretty much just an application to manage your lang file. So for example, right now I used it before, and you can see I have you would normally do like file open, and then you'd open the lang file. So the lang file's in your custom story folder, config lang. There's this one right here, and then you can see we have our starting. If we compare it to back here, I'll put them side by side. All this info will pretty much be in here, and if you want to make entries, you can make the entries here. So this is a just more of a management thing. I think it's good to know how to do it from the root, which is just, you know, go to file, copy and paste stuff. But to avoid making mistakes, it wouldn't be a bad idea to use this Lang editor. So I'm just kind of throwing it in here to show you guys in case you guys want to use it. We won't be using it in our in the remainder of the tutorial series. We'll just be doing it manually. But if you do have a lot of entries here, it might help to just have it all organized in this application. So like if you hit down inventory, you can see a storage key, storage description, and you can see, you know, storage room key, that's the name right here. And then if we go description, you can see this is a key to open the storage room. And you know, you could put new entries here. So if you wanted to add a new inventory item, you could right click, add entry, and then just copy the same format that we did for the other ones. And hints, you can manage all your hints as well here, and manage those hints. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to throw this in as a little extra bonus thing at the end of the video. If you really rather a graphical interface for the Lang file, you could use it, but I would only recommend using this really if you're gonna have a ton of added Lang file things. So if you're gonna have like a ton of hints, a ton of messages, a ton of narration perhaps, like if you're gonna have a ton of stuff in this file, you might want to use this just to keep track of all of it. But if you don't plan on having that big of a Lang file, I don't think there's any point in using it. It's good to also know how to use XML in general. So again, just a little throw-in bonus. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap up the video, guys. Next episode is again going to be about keys. We're going to show how we can use the newly added key with the custom title and description in our game to open a door. So tune in for that in the next episode if you're interested in that. And with that, guys, I'll wrap it up. Make sure you leave any comments, suggesting anything you want to see in the future episodes, or let me know how I'm doing. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already subscribed, and leave a like on the video if you haven't already done so. So thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.